All right, guys. So, welcome to our Push to Diamond call. And today we decided to change it up a little, and we are going to talk about recruiting intentionally. Before I get started on this call, I kind of wanted to share with you guys. I asked Melissa to come and be our guest today and speak because Melissa and I actually met last year. We are both inside of another group. These are like the leaders of Diesel Nation. And she falls in the Diesel Nation umbrella. I mean, it's pretty freaking huge. But of course, you know, coaches, she's all the way from California.
Eat your
And,
food.
oh, you guys, I'm sorry. If you are just jumping on, please do me a favor and mute yourself because we get that feedback. So I know there's like an iPhone right now that's not muted. Okay. I don't know who that is, but somebody's not muted. Okay, so that was you. That was Monica. Well, there's also an iPhone not muted. But anyways, so Diesel Nation is quite big. And at the end of the day, we are all a part of Diesel Nation. But of course, it is a big, big umbrella. That's something to be proud of. But in this umbrella, we have what's called like the Diesel Nation leaders. So these are like for the 2-star diamonds and above. And so I was thrown into this group with Melissa. And so I kind of like knew who she was. And I would see her at certain, like at some, I think I met her for the first time at a summit, but we never really connected. It wasn't until last year when, Christina and Becky had asked, like, who here is pushing and gunning it for elite? And me and Melissa like raised our hands, and I was like, so we private messaged each other, and it just turns out that we were both like in the same predicament. We were both like, first of all, elite at that very moment was very far-fetched for us. It really was. But I think that God knew exactly what he was doing by placing the two of us together, because we fed off of each other's energy. And the fact that we were both like right there, like I think down to like each point was identical. What we needed for advancement was identical. Everything about us was identical. She just lives 3-hour time zone difference than me all the way in California. And so it was kind of cool to have somebody that like could run alongside you. And I remember when her report would come out and she was a point above me, I'm like, damn it, like we got it. Like it became like a very fun race, you know, to the finish line. And I'm so honored to say that we both crossed the finish line as again a 2019 elite coach. And so I wanted to share, I wanted her to come onto this call because ever since we kind of made that big push together, and it felt amazing to cross the finish line together, we just kind of bonded and we just kind of talking. And I realized that she leads her team through a lot of faith. And I love that. And I love that the way, you know, the language she uses with her team. I love how she drives her team. I love how she motivates her team. And so we just kind of been feeding off of each other and getting ideas from each other. And so I thought, you know, when we were going to do a diamond push, I said, you know what, I need Melissa to come on here and talk to our team. And the one thing that when we sat down and we said, okay, what are we going to talk about? And the one thing that we wanted for everybody here is to be recruiting intentionally, right? I think that intentionally can mean, like, I think it's such a broad word, and sometimes we don't even know how to recruit intentionally. We don't even understand, what do you mean intentionally? I mean, I'm talking about it, right? I'm getting out there, like, so I don't understand. And so tonight we're going to kind of drop it down. We're going to give you guys some tips. We're going to give you guys 6 tips on how to recruit intentionally. So first thing first, I am going to share my screen real quick, and I'm going to start off. Let me pull this up. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me find my slide. Excuse me, guys. I'm on a call. Sorry, my kids are fighting. Okay, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we're going to just jump right into this call. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you guys can see this. All right, great. Okay, so we're going to talk about building with intention, right? And so this is going to be our topic for this month's diamond training. If you guys are on this call, you are already being intentional. You're being intentional by showing up. And a part of growing in this business is showing up for yourself, showing up for the team, showing up to these calls. And you guys are here, but I think the most important thing is to show up when nobody's looking, right? I think that's probably one of the most important times to show up. And I think that's the time that we probably show up the least, when it's for ourselves. And so we kind of want to dive into that. But before we do, I wanted to start off with a quote from one of my man, John Maxwell. And it's, be intentional to add value to every person you meet every day. I mean, that's who we are. Somebody needs to mute themselves, please. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So I think this is like perfect. I mean, this is exactly who we are as coaches. This is what we do, right? This is what we do. We decided to become a coach. And when we decided to do that, we decided to inspire people through our journey and to add value to other people and show people what is possible through us, through what we're doing, so in other words, you can't, talk about how to transform, internally and externally, transform your mind, your spirit, everything, if you yourself are not doing it. So I think that it's really important that you are intentional with yourself, as also intentional with the way you are approaching people and recruiting people and encouraging people, inspiring people. So I really like this quote from John Maxwell. I'll read it again. It says, be intentional to add value to every person you meet every day. So first thing first, I want you guys to figure out, what kind of coach are you? Like, I want you guys to stop and this is going to be like a self-reflecting moment, right? We're going to self-reflect, because in order to grow, you kind of have to know where you stand. You have to know where you are in this business. You have to understand where you are. What are you doing? What kind of coach you are? And then it's important to understand and know what kind of coach you want to be, and be real with yourselves. So I want to do this really quickly with you guys. I want you guys, so there are 3 types of coaches. There are discount coaches, there are hobby coaches, and there are working coaches. So discount coaches you're just simply a coach for the discount. I mean, you have no interest in business building, which should be nobody here, because if you're on this call, you clearly want a business build, right? You clearly want something out of this. A hobby coach is somebody that absolutely loves their career and has no intention of retiring or making this their full gig, but they don't mind the extra income. They don't mind, setting aside certain hours to dedicate to this and to grow a side hustle, a hobby, right? And so we have hobby coaches, and then working coaches are coaches that are going 100% and eventually want this to be their main source of income, or bring them home, or replace whatever income they have, or make this their full-time gig, right? So really quickly, I want everybody to pull out a pen. Pull out a pen. If you don't, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to pull out a pen. And we're going to answer these. Simple yes and no. Let me see. Can I see the chat? Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say that when I first became a coach, I had no intentions of leaving my job. I had no intentions of changing career. I had loved what I loved what I was doing. And so when I first started this business, my focus was as a hobby coach. But God had different plans for me, and he slowly changed my mindset. And actually this year I am retiring myself after 13 years of being a school director and teacher. So yes, absolutely. We all start off somewhere. Some of us start off as discount coaches and then slowly turn into hobby, and then go from hobby to working coach. So yes, there's different stages, but it's important to understand where you are and where you want to be, because they're 2 different things. So we can all say we're working coaches, but are you really putting in the action that it takes to be a working coach? So that's what I kind of want us to have, that self-reflection right now, so that you know where you are and you can understand the gap and what you need to do to get to the next level, if the next level is where you want to get to. So All right, so this is going to be a yes or no, a simple yes or no. You're going to answer these questions. So it's 12 questions. Okay, question number 1, are you proof the product works? Do you have a transformation? Yes or no? Write it down. Okay, number 2, is your current status active? So if we go to your back office, does it say active coach or does it say inactive, or are you flashing inactive? So if you're flashing inactive, no. If you are active, yes. Okay, number 3, have you completed a program from start to finish? So have you done 21-day fix for 21 days, not cheated, not missed a day, followed it to the T? Yes or no? Okay, number 4, do you listen to the National Wake Up Call every Monday? Oh, somebody's not muted. Got it. Okay, next question. Do you get on our team calls? I think that's a yes, because you guys are here. Okay, next question. Are you registered for Summit? Next one. Did you attend the last Super Weekend event? So we host quarterly events. If you're not here from Miami, we have one in your area. Trust me, they have them all over. So did you attend? Next one. Are you showing up daily on social media? Meaning, are you posting every single day, sharing about your journey, sharing about this business, sharing about the opportunity here, sharing about challenge groups? Okay, the next one. Are you posting on purpose? So are you doing call to actions? Join my team. Get more info. Drop an emoji if you want more info. Are you intentionally inviting people daily? Hey, I saw you commented on my post. So I would like to hear, what are some of the things you want? What are some of your goals? Or, hey, I have a challenge group coming up. Is this something that you would interest you? Next one. Did you hit Success Club last month? Meaning, were you Success Club qualified? So either SC5 or SC10. Okay, and then last one, did you finish a personal development book in the last month? All right, so now I want you guys to add up all your yeses. Okay, so, and I don't want you guys to look at this and then get discouraged. Okay, so if your numbers are low and it's not quite where you want to be, or maybe you're kind of having like a gut check and you're like, well, wait a minute, or a realization. And I want you guys to understand that at least in my journey, it wasn't until I could have that real talk with myself that I was able to grow. So you have to acknowledge where you are. And that's what I wanted to do here today, was I wanted you guys to realize where you are and then figure out where do you want to be. And then that way you know what to work towards. So let's talk about this. So if you scored, if you scored 1 to 4, you're working as a discount coach. So you might have decided to work the business, but your actions aren't quite matching your decision. And again, if you fall into this category, I don't want you to go, oh, okay, well, I guess this isn't for me. Because when I first took this test, I fell in that category. And instead of saying, okay, well, I guess coaching is not for me, I said, okay, no, this is where I am, but this is where I want to be. Now I need to figure out how to get there. Right? And I just did a checklist, so you kind of have an idea of what you need to do to kind of get there. Okay? If you scored 5 to 9, you're working as a hobby coach. So you're putting skin in the game, but just need to buckle down a little more. Set a schedule and treat this business like a business. Focus on making office hours and check off everything in your daily to-do list or coach daily business activity tracker, which Melissa's going to kind of touch up on that later on today. Don't give up. You are right there on track. So you're on the right track, right? But there's always a little bit more we can give, and right? And I think that was the realization I had to have myself. Like, I had to have that talk with myself. I wanted elite status. I wanted, 5-star, 10-star, 15-star. I wanted superstar status, right? But I was working as a hobby coach, right? So what I wanted wasn't matching the efforts I was giving. So I needed to understand, okay, well, I was doing the bare minimum, and I was expecting a lot, and I needed to be real with myself. It doesn't work that way, right? What you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. So if you feel like you're kind of in that rut and you're not quite where you want to be, this is a time to self-reflect and say, okay, but am I giving it my all? Am I really doing everything that it takes? Okay, and by doing this checklist, you can kind of see maybe what areas you're lacking and where you can focus on. So the next one is, if you scored 10 to 12, you're a working coach. You're doing all the right things. All the seeds you have thrown out there will begin to grow. Be patient, but never stop throwing out new seeds. That's super, super important. I actually did this recently at my school, my class. I did this with my class. Every single kid, we all planted seeds in a cup. And it was kind of cool to see, because we all planted seeds. We all gave it the same amount of water, same amount of dirt. We gave it all the same TLC. They were all positioned in the same place, so getting them out of sun. But clearly, some cups were outgrowing others, right? So some of those seeds were sprouting like crazy, and some weren't, right? So with that being said, like, it's important. It's important to never stop farming, never stop throwing out seeds, right? So you can't just hustle for an entire month and sit back and say, okay, all right, well, all these seeds need to come back. No, you got to keep going. So it's really important to always be in that phase 1 of coaching, which is recruiting. Constantly be recruiting and throwing out new seeds. Just continue plugging into PD daily and team calls. Reach out to your upline and come up with a healthy short-term goals and strategies to reach them. Diamond is on the horizon. Believe that. All right, so next thing, personal development, I think, is crucial. It's essential. It is our breath, and it's the way we breathe in this business, because I'm going to be very, very transparent with you guys, okay? There are a lot of ups in this business, amazing ups that are phenomenal, but just like there's ups, there's downs. And I think that I know for a fact that when you're plugged into PD, personal development, when you are constantly working on yourself, you know that those downs are seasonal. Those downs are going to go away, right? And when you have that mindset and you know, okay, I'm in a down now, you actually get yourself out of it quicker. You have control. You don't have control in getting in those downs, because it's inevitable. They happen. It's just life just throws at us downs, and you just feel it. But you can control how long you stay down there. You can control how long you are, in that dark hole. I know there's times that I just want to crawl away and just kind of like disappear. And before, when I was a very immature coach, I would stay there for maybe a week, sometimes 2 weeks. And that's detrimental to our business. Like, at the end of the day, we're only hurting our business, our growth. We're hurting our team. And so I've learned to now, those days last me hours, if not a night. I wake up brand spanking new. And I have to say, I know without a doubt that is because of personal development. I've been able to condition my mind and understand and know that those seasons are going to happen. They are bound to happen. And once you prepare that you're going to go through one of those storms, you're able to come out of it way quicker. So I honestly think that if you're not plugged into PD, the roller coaster ride that this is going to put you on, it's gonna either throw you off, where you're gonna say forget about this, or you're gonna have a really, really hard time adjusting and getting used to the rhythm of this business. So I put on here a couple of books and things that have helped me in my business. Girl Wash Your Face, Rachel Hollis. I put her as number 1 because, hello, we're going to see her at Summit in 2 months. How freaking awesome is that? The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone is freaking amazing. Compound Effect. I love this one because it talks about all those daily actions, how those daily little compounds, those little daily actions matter, because those are what adds up to big things, to big successes. And it's kind of like what we preach about in our fitness. It's the same thing in our business. Okay, we did not get a transformation from one day to the other. It was those daily, drinking your shake daily, working out daily, meal prepping daily. It was those actions that led to the transformation, that led to our being able to flaunt our success. There's no different in this business. You've got to take those daily actions. Okay. GoPro is another great one. It's a very MLM-based book, which it teaches you a lot about how to understand and be in the mindset of an MLM business. And that's what we are. We are an MLM, a multi-level marketing business. Okay, 12-week year. That is if you are like ready to like dive into like this business. 12-week year is basically you'll do in 12 weeks what it takes regular people to do in a year. It's like 10xing it, right? You Are a Badass is a great one to just kind of like release that inner badassness, that's there, and it rids you of all that fear and all of the insecurities and all of that stuff. Like all of that stuff matters. All of that stuff, I can honestly say, like, even when you go to talk to people could tell when you're plugged into personal development, just the way you speak, just the way you act, just the way your mannerisms, just your passion, your conviction, all of that is fueled with personal development, and people can feed off of that. And then this is the book that I'm about to finish. It's Unfuck Yourself. I actually, it was in Diesel Nation where I heard about this book. I absolutely love it. So I had to put it on there, and he's very blunt, and he's just like, you know what, like, get over yourself, in other words. And I love that kind of trainings and stuff like that. I kind of love like that tough love. All right. And then so lastly, be intentional with your time. Are you setting aside time? Are you setting aside beach body time? I'm not talking about scrolling. Like, I think we go through Facebook, and it's pretty crazy, because I think sometimes we don't realize it, but we get sucked into like the scrolling and the scrolling and the scrolling, and then before you know it, an hour or two has passed, and then it's like, oh my gosh, then your spouse, all he sees you is like plugged into the phone, and nothing's coming out of it because all you're doing is scrolling, and then and it trickles down to like this really ugly like habit. So as soon as you catch yourself scrolling, stop. Right? Stop it. You don't scroll, because I know how hard it can be and how consuming it can be, but scrolling is not going to build you a business. So I'm very big on if you see that you're scrolling, just stop, take a step back, take a breather. And I have to do it to myself too, still to this day. Take a breather and say, okay, what do I need to do? What was it that I got on Facebook or Instagram in the first place? Oh, that's right. I was going to go and talk to all the people that I messaged earlier today. I was going to respond to messages. Or, oh, that's right. There were 10 people on my list that I'm going to go flirt with on their page real quick. Like, that's being intentional. Okay, so don't become a collector of information. That's another one. You guys are here today, right? And I know for me, I'm a victim, not a victim. I did this where I would go on calls and I would listen to calls and I say, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that. Oh, I've heard that. Oh, yeah, I know. I was a good collector of information, but I was not applying anything I was learning. Do not be a collector of information. Apply what you are learning. Make sure what you get out of these calls. And you don't have to get everything out of these calls. And that's why it's so important to always plug into calls, because you might get nuggets here and there. Something today might stick for you. And then in the next call, something else is going to stick. I don't think that I can jump on a call and everything just sticks. It's impossible. It's kind of impossible. It's humanly impossible for everything to stick and then for you to turn around and apply every single thing you learn. But these calls are important, and it's important for you to grab some golden nuggets tonight. and then turn around and apply them. So don't be a collector of information. Get some tools out of this and then apply. And Melissa's going to go deep into giving us some real tangible tools. Call to action posts. We should be doing this daily. You should be doing a call to action to invite people to this opportunity as coaches. And you should be doing calls of action to people to join your challenge group as customers. All right, there should be 2 types of call to actions. Now, don't just do a call to action and say, okay, all right, I did my part. All right, so people should be messaging me. That's throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. It's not realistic. Okay, still to this day, I don't get to just, throw a post out there and I get 1,100,000, messages at all. What I do is anybody that likes it, anybody that might comment on it, then I go and I privately message them. Okay, follow up daily. So if you had a conversation going and it kind of like died out and, you want to kind of like re-stir it up, those are the follow-ups. Have those follow-up conversations. You should be following up every single day. And the follow-ups are key to this business. Actually, I read this today and I was going to put it in here and I completely forgot. Sales statistics, and I'll share this later on. I think this is like amazing. And I want you guys to really listen to this because I should have shared it here. Actually, you know what? Give me 2. Let me see, because it's kind of hard to grasp it if I read it, but I will. I'm gonna read it out loud to you guys, and then I'm going to let me just share it real quick, and then I'm gonna post it on here. This right here changed my mind completely, and it's all about the follow-ups. And I think that we take those follow-ups for granted, and this is going to change your mind on follow-ups. So let me just bring this down. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, I want you guys to read this. Can you guys see that? Okay, it says 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. So 48% never follow up. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople make only 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Now check this out. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. Do you guys see how follow-ups are so crucial? And when you feel like you're nagging, don't. Just keep going. Keep going until they block you. I'm giving you permission. Just keep going until they block you. Like, that's what I do. Until you tell me flat out, no, I'm good, then I stop. But as long as you keep saying, like, you know what, girl, one of these days, or you know what, maybe next week, or maybe next year, I'm going to keep following up with that person. Because I'm going to be the 10 percentile that follow up 3 or more times. So, follow-ups, create new conversations daily. All right. And then create a tracking system that works for you. There are Google tracking systems. You can do the good old-fashioned way where you write down names, but make sure you figure out a good tracking system, because if not, people are going to fall through the holes, and then you're going to forget about who you talk to. And if you depend on just like going back and scrolling through old messages, 1, you're wasting time, and 2, that's how people fall through the through the holes. And let me tell you, I've had a lot of times where I will follow up and realize I hadn't followed up in like months, and that person has signed up with somebody else because somebody else followed up and I did not write that person's name down and I wasn't organized. So figure out a tracking system that works for you. So let me see really quickly. Okay, so that's pretty much what I was gonna share. I'm gonna toss it over. Let me stop my share. And I'm gonna toss it over to Melissa, and she is going to bring it with her 3 topics. So let me unmute myself, and go ahead and unmute yourself, Melissa.
Okay, can you hear me now? Perfect. You might have to give me rights to share my screen.
Really? How do I do that?
I don't know. Hold on, let me see. Share screen. Nope, it'll let me.
Automatically.
Okay. Can you guys see that? Is it good? Okay, perfect. So I'm super excited to talk with you guys tonight. Before I jump into this call, I just want to share with you guys why I think this is such an important topic. And when Veronica and I were talking about what she wanted me to share, the first thing that came to mind that I've been really working with, trying to instill in my up-and-coming leaders, is recruiting. Because recruiting, guys, whether you like it or not, or you feel uncomfortable or not, that's how you're going to build your team. And I know that everyone on this call is working towards diamond and beyond, right? So I have a question for you guys. I want you to utilize the chat box, and on a scale of 1 being that you've never done it, or that you never do it, 2 being the middle point, and then 3 being 5 and above. So I'm going to ask you, for recruiting purposes, how many coaches you are adding to your team every single month. So 1 is you're not adding any. 2 is going to be you're adding like between 1 to 3 coaches, and then 3 is 5 and above. So just take a second, put it in the chat box. It doesn't matter where you're at. This calls for improvement. Okay, so it sounds like collectively we have some work to do, right? Because you can say all you want that you want to be a diamond, but if you're not recruiting coaches, ultimately, guys, you're not going to get there. Okay, and I want you to release you if you have any icky feelings about what it means to recruit, because I want to paint this picture for you. When you guys think of recruiting people to your team, most of the time you're thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can put in the chat, you're thinking it's uncomfortable, you don't want to bug your friends, you don't want to come off as quote unquote salesy, right? You can show a nod of hands, you can put something in the chat. Normally that's what you're thinking, right? Okay, so what if you flip the script? What if you thought about football players, right? They're being recruited to other teams, or going into a really high-paying sales position. There are quote-unquote headhunters who are recruiting people to fill those positions. So guys, we have a gift and an opportunity that is not only extraordinary, but it's our responsibility to share this with others, okay? So if you're not sharing this with other people, you're keeping other people's destinies trapped in your mouth. I heard that a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me. So I want you to get yourself out of that space where you're saying, this is uncomfortable, I don't want to do it, I don't want to bug my friends and family, to saying, I am doing other people a disservice by not sharing this opportunity because I can change their life. And every time that you get into that moment of going and sending those invites, which we're going to talk a little bit about that, I want for you guys to think about how you can change that person's life. And I promise you, it's going to give you more joy. It's going to get you excited. You are going to find more passion, and you're going to have a heck of a lot more people saying yes to you, because I'm a firm believer that mindset is everything. And if you go into a situation every day like, no one's coming to me, no one's going to sign with me, this isn't ever going to happen for me, everybody's saying no, we live in a saturated market, guess what? That's going to be true for you. So change your mindset and start thinking about how many people you're going to start helping every single month. And if you're not currently doing this, guys, starting tonight, I want you to be setting a goal every single week or for your month, but then break it down into weekly of how many coaches you want to bring onto your team. I talk to my coaches about this all the time. If you don't have a goal, it's basically, like Veronica said, it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping that it'll stick. So whether that's adding 2 coaches a month or that's adding 10 coaches a month, that number is personal to you to work with your coach and make that happen. Okay. So I want to get into this little PowerPoint, and I want you guys to take notes. I want you to use the chat. I'll go back and answer any questions that you have, but recruiting with intention is so important, guys. Why? Because you want to grow your team. So the first, oh, hold on. Let me get to page 2. Let me see if I can get there. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is who are you talking to, okay? And I want you, hopefully you have a pen and paper, and I want you to make a list of 5 to 10 qualities that you possess personally. So for me, I'm talking to busy moms. I was a busy mom when I first got started in this opportunity. Actually, when I was on a call just like this, Monica, myself, and Jamie O'Rear were doing a call, and I had never said it out loud that this opportunity was going to bring me home. But it did. I worked full time. I was super content on working for someone else because I didn't know that there was another opportunity out there. There's no issue working for other people. I just found an opportunity that I fell in love with and I knew could bring me home to my kids. So my niche market is busy people. I want busy moms. Why? Because busy people know how to get stuff done. How many of you guys are busy, and when you're like back is up against the wall, you can get everything done, right? You have maybe a checklist or a to-do list and you have a time constraint, like you can get stuff done. So I'm going to call out to busy people. I'm also going to talk to working people. My market is not stay-at-home moms, although I do want to help them, but I'm talking to people who are stressed in a pinch for time. I'm talking to people who are okay with getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting the things done that they need done around their house, because that's what I did. I'm talking to the people who are up late at night scrolling on Facebook because that's the only time that they have to themselves after they've made lunches, helped with homework, got showers done, all that stuff, right? So that's who I'm shouting out to. I also am making sure that I'm talking to people who crave time, right? How many of you guys work full time and you would love to have more time with your kids? Just put it in the chat. Because for me, that was my driving force. That was what got me home to my kids. I was going to work for someone else for the rest of my life. I had no issue with that because I wasn't educated. I didn't have a profession that I went to college for. I worked for someone else. I was in retail leadership, which was really like management, and managing people is not fun. And then when I decided I needed something different, I went and worked for an office where I was an office administrator. I was burning both candles at the end of the stick. I was exhausted all the time. I was dragging my kids out of the house in the morning, like, grab your shoes, get your lunch, how come your homework's not done? Dropping them off at daycare when they were sick. Like, I needed time with my kids. I was sick and tired of asking other people for permission to be present with my kids or to schedule doctor's appointments, all those things. It gave me anxiety and mom guilt. And I know that a lot of people, somebody said that Heather said she hates missing your daughter's games. Guys, me too. That was a driving force for me. And I will never say that when somebody joins my team that their ultimate goal has to be to leave their job. I will never, ever, ever say that, because I know plenty of people who love what they do and never want to leave their job. And I 100% respect that. But I will help them and match them wherever their journey is, just like Veronica was talking about earlier. When I started this, my vision was not to ever leave my job or to work this. I was coming in for the discount. And then I slowly started trickling into being a hobby coach. So it can change and evolve over time. Okay. So hopefully you're writing down the people that you want to talk to. I'm talking to people who are faith-based. I'm talking to people who have faced marriage struggles or have a strong marriage. What type of hobbies do they have? Are they into fitness? I didn't come into the business with a fitness background. I was actually super freaking intimidated of the gym. I tell this story often. I would go on these business trips with my company, and I would always go and use the gym because that's what I wanted to be fit. I wanted to be healthy. So I tried like every quick fix that was out there. But I would go and I would walk into the gym and I would get on something like the elliptical or the Stairmaster or the treadmill. And I remember this one time I went in and I was the only person in there. And I'm like going. And some guy walks in there and he looks super fit and he's like doing all these things. And I'm like 5 minutes in and I'm literally drenched. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to know like I have to like stay on this thing because he's going to know like I just got off of it. So that's the type of person that I was for fitness. Like I would take a walk up around my street and like post a selfie and be like, oh my God, that was the hardest 1 mile walk. I had done Jenny Craig. I had done Weight Watchers. Like it works. You name it. I had tried it because I was desperate to lose weight. So I'm talking to those people who have tried everything under the sun and are just confused and they need a solution in their life to get the results that they want. So you need to talk to your people, because if you go and try to talk to Veronica's people or Monica's people, guess what? Chances are you're not going to be attracting the right people because your people want you. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to share your story, which I'm going to talk about as well. You have to get uncomfortable with speaking your truth. It's not always going to be sexy. It's going to be uncomfortable. You might put your first post out there and like pour your heart out and think that it's going to get like all these people's attention and 2 people comment on it. Keep posting, keep sharing, keep talking, keep sharing deeper parts of your story. Because when I first started sharing my story, guys, I could not get through a call like this without sobbing hysterically. But the more that I've grown, the more that I've become at peace with it, and I've been able to share openly, and I've been able to attract other people, and now I get to help them. I get to help the old Melissa. Right? So think about who you were when you first started this journey and talk to that person. And where are you at in your life right now? Talk to that person. And over time, as you continue to grow, keep talking to those same people. Okay. So how to post and connect with your people. So I want you guys to think about this, and I learned this through Eric Worre. If you haven't read Go Pro, if you haven't been to an Eric Worre event, he's a genius in the network marketing field, and he will really, really, really help you. I highly recommend getting to one of his events, reading his books, doing all the things, because he's so amazing. So one of the things that he taught me is when you're telling your stories is to think of these things, guys, is where were you before the solution that you have? So in this case, coaching. Right? So before coaching, we were constantly strapped for time and money. We never went on vacations. We were dropping our kids off at daycare when they were sick. That's my story, right? So the solution that I found was this opportunity that was helping me earn an extra income. I remember my first month, I made like $400 as a coach. That to us was like gold. I got to help with groceries. It paid for my investment to sign up so I could show my husband, look, oh my gosh, I made this money. And he wasn't going to make me send back the bag of shakes. I think I paid my car payment that month. Like I was so happy that that was extra money because we were short on time and money. It was like every time I got paid, I remember dreading paying daycare because I felt like I was spending so much money paying someone else to take care of my kids. And so that's the story that I'm telling, is that burden that's lifted off my shoulders, that guilt that was taken, that was swallowing me whole, and how was able to come home to my kids, right? So that's the solution that I found. How has it helped? Well, all of those things. I've been home with my kids for almost 4 years now. So 15 months after I started coaching, I was able to quit my full-time job, replace my income, and come home to my kids. So not only did I replace daycare, I gave myself a raise. I get to be home with my kids. I get to coach t-ball. I get to sit on a football board. I get to help my friends with their kids. Yes, it makes me a little bit crazy sometimes because staying home with your kids and running a business isn't always that sexy either. 90% of the times when I'm on these calls, I have like my daughter running all over me, my boys running in. It's crazy, right? But it's worth it. And I get to experience all those things that I used to miss. Like my son leaves next week for sixth grade camp. When I started this business, he was in, I think, second grade or first grade, going into second. And I had missed out on so much because the first 8 years of his childhood, he was in daycare. And I was getting the daycare or my husband's story of what had happened or how great he was doing in this. Like I wasn't getting to experience that myself. So it's helped me be a more present mom who's able to fulfill a passion of serving others because I always loved helping people, and be home with their kids while making an income, right? So then you talk about what makes you excited for the future. Guys, the sky's the limit. I've been doing this for 5 years. We've been able to do things that I never imagined, and we're just getting started. 5 years in, we're just getting started. I'm always learning, always growing, always setting new goals. I'm failing forward. I don't have it all figured out. Right? So you have to tell your story. And it might not sound like that. And you might be like, you know what, Melissa, I haven't had any of those things. I haven't been able to quit my job. I haven't been able to pay those bills. But you can talk about why you joined Monica's team or Veronica's team or Heather's team or Andrea's team, right? You can talk about why you joined them. Because where were you at? How did you find it? Right? How has it helped you? What makes you excited for achieving those goals? Because before I achieved the things that I went out and I talked about it as if it had already happened, right? You have to have a very clear vision for your future. And if you haven't started creating that vision, guys, I challenge you tonight to sit down and start thinking about that. I know it's a little bit later for you guys, so maybe it's tomorrow morning, but you write that vision down and you look at it every single day because that's going to be the driving force. If you haven't created a vision board, create one. Mine sits next to my bed. I do one every year, and I don't take the things off that board that haven't been achieved yet. But when you're able to look and say, oh, that's so cool, we did this year. Oh my gosh, this is going to become a reality. Like that is such a cool moment. So go out and create those things. When you're in your Instagram, guys, you can do so many different ways of recruiting. Okay. You can, do a talking post where you're saying, hey, tonight we're going to be doing a call. We're going to be just sharing our stories. We're 3 moms who found this business. One of us works full time. One of us was a stay-at-home mom that's earning a full-time income. And the other one's $1 million earner annually, right? And share those stories by talking because I find that people do want, just like, remember when Facebook Live came out and everyone like freaked out and they would get on your Facebook Live and just sit and watch. They didn't care what you had to say. They just wanted to be a part of it. That's how Instagram stories are. Like, it's like reality TV. They can tap through that, and they're going to find out different stuff. You can do polls, right? What I like to do with my storytelling is I'll take pictures from our trips or from leadership or with my kids or sporting events or me and my family, whatever it is, and then you just overlay text on it. And you start talking about it. I have pictures of before this opportunity where, you know, I was close to 200 pounds, and I'll talk about how I would tie my pants together with a rubber band and like be uncomfortable, but I didn't want to go out and buy new pants because I couldn't believe at how heavy I'd gotten. And then I found the 21-day fix after watching somebody else do it and decided that I needed to try it, right? And that I signed up immediately as a coach because I wanted the discount because I couldn't afford $130 a month. I offer the coaching discount to every single person, right? And here's how. So every conversation, you're going to give them 2 options. You're going to say you can sign up as a customer, and you're going to pay $160 to get started. Each month that your Shakeology or your performance line comes out, it's going to be $140 after tax, depending on where you're at for shipping. If you're in Canada, it's going to be way more. Or you can sign up as a coach, and it's going to be $15 a month for your business service fees, which if you help a minimum of 1 person, you're going to make at least that. And you can get 25% off all your future products. The choice is yours, whatever you want to do, but let me know, because if you sign up as a discount coach, even if you don't help anyone, you're still saving like $22 a month, right? So you present that opportunity to every single person. Closed mouth don't get fed. I tell my kids that all the time. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. And I would be super pissed off if I joined an opportunity and I didn't know that there was a way for me to save money because somebody didn't offer it because they were uncomfortable doing that. So you have to shake that discomfort and just be bold and know that you have this opportunity. And guess what? I started as a discount coach. How many of you guys started as a discount coach and you're on this call tonight because you want something more, right? So think about that. If somebody didn't share this, or you weren't courageous enough to reach out and say, hey, what's this coaching thing? I want to know. I think I could be good at it. And go stalk people's pages. And if you think that they have something to offer, guys, be bold and just say, hey, Veronica, I've been watching you. I've been looking at your page. It looks like we have so much in common. I don't know if you're interested in learning about something like this, but this Wednesday, my team and I, we're going to put together like a no obligation sneak peek, but I would love to share it with you because you're exactly who I'm looking for to have on my team. Okay? Like, that's so simple. We make inviting out to be so freaking scary when really, guys, it's just a conversation. We have been being told no since we were babies. So why is it so uncomfortable for us now to hear the word no? If they don't want to do it, they have that choice. I just had this exact conversation right before this call. I'm like, how ironic, because this is what I'm going to do tonight. And she was like, you know what, can I sign up first and then I'll think about it? She's like, we just moved, money's tight. And I was like, honestly, you're going to save $40. Like, if you're trying to be money conscious, there's no obligation. And she was like, okay, you're right. So don't always take that first no as a no forever. Go back. If there's people in your challenge group who are crushing it, go and give them a shout on your Instagram stories. Tag them in it. And then send them a message and say, hey, girlfriend, I hope you don't mind. I gave you a shout out in my Instagram stories, but you are crushing it right now and you need to be on our team. You are showing up in our challenge group. You are a cheerleader. Like, you were born to do this, right? Talk to people about this. One thing I learned from Kim Fitzpatrick is you treat your challengers like your top coaches. You teach them, you treat them like that, they will be your next top coach, okay? I'm not watching the chat, so I don't know if there's anything there, but I'll go back. The other thing is now Instagram is giving you the option of saving your Instagram stories. And Monica, I've noticed you've been doing this because I remember we had a conversation, and when you were transitioning to Instagram, Facebook kind of went away for you. So don't do that, you guys. I talk to people all the time that are like, oh, I'm only Instagram. You're doing yourself a disservice, because guess what? I would say 85% of my clients still come from Facebook. Facebook's not dead. It's not just for old people. So go and share the same exact stories. You're not having to duplicate the information if you just hit save. If you do it with music, you can't save it, but like if you're doing a talking poll or a big story for an invitation, whatever it is, go and share that over on your Facebook, because you can get the same amount at the same time by doing it on both, right? And you might get somebody who was interested that you might not have before. And every time that you see people watching your stories on Facebook or Instagram, go reach out to them. That is free opportunity. They're watching you. They want an invitation. Think of it like this, guys. Say you see somebody creates an event on Facebook, and they're like having this big party, and you know this person. You've talked to them several times, and it's, I don't know, their 35th birthday, and you're like, oh, that's cool. They're turning 35. I hope they have a good party. But they're like, I really want Monica at this party, but they never send Monica an invitation. They're going to assume that Monica knows that she's invited to this party, but they never had the courage or didn't remember to ask her, because they assumed because Monica saw all this, she would just come. Now she's not coming. Every time you leave that stuff on the table, that is leaving an open invitation for somebody else to go and invite. Chances are, if you aren't inviting them, somebody else is, right? Especially if you have a lot of friends in common. And most of us, if you live in the same area, you have a lot of the same social circles. I've made that mistake before. Like, go and send in an invite, and they're like, oh, I actually just signed up with so-and-so. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have invited you. Like, what was I thinking? So just be bold, just be If they're liking your stuff, if they're watching your stuff, they want an invitation to your party. Okay? So the last thing I want to talk to you guys is how to close with confidence. Okay? So think of somebody, maybe it's on your team, maybe it's somebody in the network who you look up to as a leader, that you feel like they just have so much confidence and they have swagger about them. Like you go out of your way to watch their stories. You want to know what they're doing because they're just killing it, right? That's the type of person you need to become. Go where you're envious. There's nothing that any of the top coaches in the company or any of the top leaders of Diesel Nation do that you guys can't do yourself. Maybe we send out more invitations. Maybe we spend a couple hours doing more, right? Maybe we work on recruiting. You can do that too. Don't sell yourself short. Don't tell yourself a story. And how are you going to gain that confidence? Well, Veronica already covered that. You're going to dig into personal development. Okay? Because if you're not working on your mindset, you're probably going to stay stuck in that situation where you're like, I can't do what Monica does. I can't do what Veronica does. I'll never be as good as they are. I don't have that body. I don't have that willpower. I'll never get invited to this. Change your mindset. Work on your personal development. Think about the people that you are talking to. Go to that list. If you didn't make that list, guys, go back tonight and make that list of 5 to 10 things that make you unique, who you're going to start talking to. At the end, I'm going to share an invitation or a call to action that I just did yesterday. You guys can steal this. I'll share it in with Veronica. She can post it in your team page. I don't care. I want you to feel confident in sending out those invitations. Just think of this every time that you scow down from not inviting. You are keeping other people's destinies trapped in your mouth, and that's not fair, guys. Like, it's just not. So, how to close with confidence. So you're going to use call to actions that are going to engage with people. So what does that look like? Well, you're going to talk about the things for your people, right? You are going to talk about exactly who you want to work with. So I'm going to read this to you guys really quick. Let's see. Okay, so I made this post last night. I said, I have an opportunity that anyone can join. However, I'm looking for people that truly want to work, who are desperate for a change, people who feel like their back is up against the wall and are willing to get uncomfortable to achieve the desires in their heart. I'm looking for my next leader. I'm calling out, I am looking for leaders. I'm not looking for just anyone. I want my next leader to join me, right? So that might be, I'm looking for my next rock star. I'm looking for my next top earner, whatever that looks like for you. I said, I want people to go to the next level and that are willing to put in the work. So there, guys, I'm calling out that you do have to work. This isn't just show up and post a pretty graphic and take some sweaty selfies and kiss your shake and people are just going to flock to you. No, you have to work. And that's the other thing I was going to say in your Instagram stories. Tell people that you have to work. You have to tell people that you have to work, because so many people join and then they're like, oh, I'm confused. I have to reach out to people to hit Success Club or to make money. Yes, you do. This isn't just snapping pictures and hoping that people are going to join you. People that are willing to invest in themselves. So then again, this is not free, right? We give away so much free content all the time. We have a 14-day free trial, but this is people who actually want to make an investment into themselves. So I'm putting that in the post. That aren't afraid of hard work, people that have a vision, but may just need the tools to get them there. I'm looking for people who are ready to go now. So I want them to start now. I would always put a date on the end of when your next challenge group or when your next coach mentorship starts or when your sneak peek, so that way people have that. People who are ready to join and are not just looking to sell products, but they're looking to fulfill a passion. I could go sell anywhere, right? I could go sell anything, but I love helping people transform and get healthy from the inside out. That is my passion, watching people go from hopeless, filled with hope, and wanting to serve others. People who want a brighter future and want to make a difference in the world. I have 5 spots available for one-on-one one-on-one mentoring and training. So I'm doing it, a call to action that there's only 5 spots. So then later on this week, I'm going to say I have 4 spots left or 3 spots left, right? So you're going to be telling people, do this in your stories too. A nice way to show people that they're joining you is just tagging that coach and congratulating them for joining your team. If you're interested in learning more about what this opportunity consists of and how it can transform your life while getting healthy from the inside out, that's totally my tagline, is healthy from the inside out. Drop your name below or shoot me a message and we can discuss what it entails. It doesn't have to be some big, huge, long, drawn out thing, but like make it inviting, talk about exactly what you want, and you should be doing a call to action at least 3 times a week. In your Insta stories, I'd say every day, every single day. I would be doing a call to action, but on your Facebook page or on your Instagram page, at least 3 times a week, okay? The other thing is you want to get people into your sneak peek. Your sneak peek is basically like you're getting them into your house, right? You get them in, you get them some water, you give them a nice comfy pillow, maybe offer them to take off their shoes, get them comfortable, make it conversational, don't make it stressful. This week I'm doing mine on Sunday. I'm going to test it out and see, because a lot of people are off work. I'm going to do it for 1 day, and I'm just going to go through like the myths of coaching, the hesitations. I'm going to talk about income progression, so where I was when I first got started and where I am today. I'm going to talk about the highs and the lows of being an entrepreneur. I'm going to share some transformations. I'm going to talk about all of the things that it takes to get started, right? And all of the tools that they will get when they get started. Okay, so get people into your sneak peeks. I personally run them twice a month in addition to the Diesel Nation one that we have. I considered doing it once a week just to see what that happens. It really just depends on what you want to do. And guys, I encourage you to branch off of what your big team is doing and host some on your own, because people want to hear from you. They can hear from Veronica, they can hear from Christina, they can hear from me, they can hear from whoever, right? They want to hear from you. They want to know what you bring to the table and why they're joining your team. The other thing, guys, I would say is get people on the phone. My closing rate, if I get people on the phone 4 to 5 times, I'm going to get people to close if I get them on the phone or I get them in person, like take them to coffee or invite them. There's a yoga studio here that just opened, so I'm inviting people, hey, do you want to go do hot yoga with me, right? So getting them face-to-face. I'm doing, next Wednesday, I'm doing, I forget what I call this, like mom's afternoon out, and I'm inviting them to my house. I'm going to make Shakeology. We're going to work out. We're going to take pictures. Like, we're just going to have conversations. I'm going to introduce them into the opportunity by welcoming them into my life, so they see it's not really scary. I really am who I say I am on screen, and it's fun, right? And that can also give you an opportunity to make sure they're people you want to work with. Because I used to invite everyone, and I'll just caution you, when you're inviting everyone, you'll probably attract people that aren't your people, right? So be very cautious. Would I want to go have a slumber party with these people? Would I want to go on the Success Club trip with them? Do I want to go to Summit with these people? So just really thinking about, is this my tribe? Is this my squad? Is this who I want to run with? Are these people serious about working? And then close, just be confident in your closing. Know that you have a gift to offer people that can transform their lives. Like I've said over and over again, guys, this business is not hard, but it does take work. It's very, very simple, and it's up to you to make a decision on what you want. So whether it's adding 1 new coach to your team a month or it's 10 new coaches, you have all of the tools, you have the ability, we believe in you. You just have to believe that you can do this, right? I personally am like a 5 to 6. That's my comfort zone for getting new coaches started each month. I added 13 one month, and it was completely overwhelming for me. Some people can do that, right? So you just have to figure out what is best for you. I would say this, 5 years in, my best piece of advice is get a system. I think you guys have a funnel system that does a lot of the work, so that's genius, because that will ease off that I don't know what to do with them, right? So that'll take a lot of the pressure off of you guys. But I think that is it. I'm looking at my notes that I have in front of me. I don't know. I know there were some questions regarding tracking systems. You do have to find what works for you. I know Google Streak is a good one that people really like. good old pen and paper, but that can lead people to like falling through the cracks. If you're not yet utilizing your business activity tracker, guys, you have to. You have to, because that takes the guesswork where people are like, I don't know what to do. I get so lost, I get so overwhelmed. All you have to do is have that. I took mine to a local print shop. She printed like 52 sheets front and back, so I have it for an entire year. It's bound by a piece of paper. There's also a book that I ordered that Moira had made. It's called Rise Up, and it'll take you through those steps, but you have to find something that works for you. Veronica talked about this earlier, and we had an extensive conversation. There are so many different systems out there. There are so many different things that people are doing. You're going to get on the national wake-up call every single week. You're going to go to Summit, and you're going to hear 40 different ways to do things. You have to figure out what works for you and stay consistent in doing it, okay? Don't every Monday change what you're doing just because Ashley Molstad's doing that. You have to do what works for you, and then continue doing it and teach others to do it, and that's how you build a team. If you want to be a leader in this business, you teach your team how to do it, because anything that you do, you can do alone, but if you want to build a team, you have to do it together. And I know you guys have an amazing freaking team culture that's trickled down through Diesel Nation, and we are so freaking blessed to have that. So just continue to pay that forward and instill that with other people, because what a blessing. Like, how freaking cool is it that we get to do this, right? Every single day we get to help transform people's lives. And maybe you don't do this full time, but like when I still work full time, this was my bright spot. Like, I could not stop thinking about it. When I was at work, I was like trying to do my coaching business on the side, because it was what brought me joy. It was what like made me believe in myself after I felt like crap for so long. I didn't know that there was any other way until I found this. And just think about how many other people are out there that feel like shit right now, that don't know that you're designed to feel really good, and that you can have people in your corner who will lift you up and cheer you on, and when you lay down with you, but give you the tools to get back up and like shout you out from the rooftops. Like, that's so freaking cool. So
hey, freaking man. Oh my God, that was amazing. You want to unshare? Let me see.
Yeah, there you go.
Take us to church. Yes, that was freaking amazing. Oh my gosh, like all you had to do was drop my. Does anybody have any questions? Now you can unmute yourself. Any questions that you may have for Melissa, for myself, or even Monica, if you guys have any questions for any of us. Now is the time, guys. Not all at once, please. No? Going once? Going twice? All right. All right, guys, so that will conclude our call. Thank you, Melissa, so much for taking your time, taking the time out of your day and speaking to us. It really means a lot. Like I said, I adore and I admire the way that you run your team, and it was aligned with the way I wanted to run my team. So I'm so blessed and honored to have met you throughout this journey and to be able to call you one of my friends. So thank you so much, Melissa. Guys, shower some love on her on the chat, please. She freaking nailed it. And let's really quickly get off of your video. Share your video real quick and your camera so we can take a really quick, I want to do a boomerang. So get your move ready, whatever you're going to do.
Careful.
All right, you guys ready? I always mess this up because I move, so I'm going to put my phone real quick. Move. Okay, ready and go. Move something.
Are we still moving?
Wait, one more time. I totally went off. Okay, ready? One more time. Ready and go. Oh, it's perfect.
We all look like bobbleheads. Watch.
Oh, wait. Let me see. Hold on. I'll tell you right now if we look like bobbleheads. Dang it. Hold on.
Don't delete it.
Oh, no. It looks good. No, we look good. Awesome. All right, guys. So have a great night. Thank you guys for showing up. And yeah, have a good night, guys. Take care. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.